him.
I just think you're dumb.
Trump thanked him.
Bishop Aubrey Shines. Thank you, Bishop.
Good friend, Bishop Aubrey Shines.
Wow.
John Oliver mocks him.
Maybe see why that could be news in Florida. Tampa pastor makes crazy video.
Hillary's book blamed him.
A prominent Trump supporter, Aubrey Shines, produced an online video attacking me.
So he continues to shine the light.
So we say to every leader, every pastor, every civic leader, engaging is not an option. Engaging is a mandate.
America shines when you're connected to Aubrey Shines. Here's your host, Aubrey Shines.
Hello and welcome to America Shines. I am your host, Aubrey Shines. This is going to be powerful. We often like to discuss developments happening across the pond, and this is a time that's no different. As we turn our attention to the UK, who has mandated all residents, not some, all of them, to adhere to and register to a digital ID database where all of their personal information will be stored, while people swear that this is being done just for convenience. In a more secure UK, the fact of the matter is that this is a case where leadership asserts their power without giving its residents any say in the matter whatsoever. Joining me to discuss is the chairman of the Constitutional Rights PAC, Larry Ward. Before we go to Larry, I want you, our audience, don't take my word for it. We shine the light on these type of topics here. Let's listen at their prime minister out of his own mouth, and then we'll bring Larry in to discuss this. Let's go to the clip.
Are you still going to press ahead with this policy, even though it's clearly very unpopular with the public?
I do, because I think there's massive benefits. But I think what we need to do, and this is an opportunity, is to get over the benefits of it. Because I suspect if you did a survey, maybe you could do this. Said, do you want to cut the fat when you want to rent or buy or otherwise prove your identity, to something simple on your phone and not your passport, your driving license, your bank account, your birth certificate. I suspect lots of people say, if you've got something to cut the faff out of my life, I'll be up for it.
Larry, that's a little scary, a bit Orwellian, and a whole lot of other issues. I could go a million different ways on this particular topic. You're the expert here. Let's talk about some of the just basics. And this is so scary to me. This is social engineering at its best. Larry, what in the world are the people in the UK going to do? By the way, they're polling against it, but this prime minister is dead set on controlling the masses. What's the problem, Larry? If it's for safety, what's wrong with this potential overreach by their government? Larry.
Well, it is an overreach. Look, it almost seems like Kai Sommer is trying to reinstate the monarchy, and having that level of control over his kingdom. And quite frankly, it's a real problem, and it won't fly in the U.S. The way the UK is doing it. Of course, there are lots of lawmakers in the U.S. salivating, watching what happens in the UK to see if they can get away with this here. But why it won't fly is because we're in a constitutional republic, and there are just so many problems with it. Number one is, let's just go through the amendments. The First Amendment, the freedom of association. So you're going to put this ID on your phone. Of course, all phones have location tracking. Whether you have it on or off, the government is going to have access to your location at all times. So when you go to a Republican or a Democrat event, they're going to know you were there. They were going to know you were participating. When you go to church, they're going to know you were there. Let's talk about the Second Amendment. When you go to a gun store or you go to a gun range, they're going to know you were there. They're going to basically create a gun registry in the UK. without anybody really paying attention because they're thinking about all of these different things. So there's a First and Second Amendment. Of course, there's a Fourth Amendment where they're going to get all your biometric data. They're going to get all of your personal data. Everything that you do on your phone will now be available to the government because you're installing this app on their phone for your quote unquote digital ID. So there's lots and lots of problems with it.
You know, Larry, I'm glad that you brought some of these factors up because, again, I want to stay here for just a moment. You're right. We are in a constitutional republic. But you and I both know that this has also been at least attempting to knock on our door. In my opinion, we saw it with COVID. Don't go out. Can't go visit grandma in a retirement home. No, we will fire you from your job. Isn't this the same overreach that we were looking at just not too long ago in the greatest country on this earth, Larry?
100%. You actually bring up a great point. Those vaccination cards that people had to have on their phone in order to work, right? It's always about you have to have this to work. Well, the Supreme Court's already ruled that every human being has the right to work. And you can't take away their right to work just because you don't have a phone. Now let me ask you something. There are a lot of people, you know, we have something in the Declaration that says the pursuit of happiness, right? There's life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Well, there are a lot of people that will claim that they've pursued happiness in a way where they went to a flip phone that wasn't digital, that was disconnected, that they can make phone calls and text messages, and that's it. So those people are going to have to now buy one of these. They're going to have to purchase one of these because of the government in the UK, where they've got a smartphone that's going to track them, and now it's taking away from their pursuit of happiness or their pursuit of or their right to be disconnected, and that's a real problem.
You know, let's go a little further. I want to keep going down this rabbit hole, if you don't mind, here for just a moment. I'm looking at China again. You don't do what we say, and you don't say what we want you to say. There's a social engineering dynamic that's there. We'll stop you. We'll stop you from getting a loan. Not just China. This will knock on the same door in the UK. I'm over there quite often. You can't buy that house. You can't have that job. Why? You're not saying what we want you to say. And if I may add, Larry, just for a moment here, just a quick proviso, they're already doing it. I have the numbers in front of me where individuals that may go online and just have a difference of an opinion about whatever their government is or isn't doing, these individuals have been fined. Several have been arrested. I've had guests on this show from the UK that talk about this almost ad nauseum. Doesn't this bolster, unfortunately, for them to have total control, not just some? This gives that kingdom total control over everything that their citizens find themselves in. Larry?
100. You're exactly right. Look, the social credit score is a big threat, and it's something that, you know, it's been used in shows like Netflix, where it was sci-fi shows where they're talking about the social credit score, and all of a sudden China unleashes the credit score, and the U.S. is going to want. There are lots of people in the U.S. that want to have social credit score associated with every human being, and this ID gives them the power to do so, because now it can tell you where you can work. It can tell it can control. You know, like I said, they'll put your vaccination status on it. And if you don't have the right vaccination status, you won't be able to work. It'll have your health records on it. Believe me, this is a slippery slope. You'll have your health records on it. So if you have something like diabetes and you go to the store to buy, you know, a cookie, they're going to say, no, you can't buy a cookie. You have diabetes. So we're going to lose basic freedoms of choice because we're giving the government the control over every aspect of our lives. And if you don't really believe me, then you actually have to look at what's going on in China, because they're doing all of these things.
You know, Larry, this is a little scary. Again, these are things that we often read in a book or seen on some sort of sci-fi, and we're looking at this apocalyptic, I call it, event that's happening right before our eyes. And it seems like the globalists that are in real control here, they're doing it. I'm going to come back. I have so many more questions for our guests. You don't want to miss this. He is the chair of Constitutional Rights. He's Larry Ward. You want to pay attention, people, because often what we do here in America, we look and go, oh, well, that's over there. But there are already individuals and groups within our government here. They're desperate to try to bring this into fruition here in America. Coming right back with our guests. Stay tuned.